back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Danielle. I am officially 27 weeks pregnant, and I wanted to just do a little quick story time. I'm in my car. Excuse the angle, excuse if I look tired. It is what it is. Excuse my big fat bra strap because my boobs are huge and I need the support. Well, they're not like huge, but they're like big for me and nothing fits. But anyways, so I'm 27 weeks pregnant. I went to my doctor's appointment today to get my glucose test results. And I'll just say it right off the bat, everything came back good. They also tested for other things and everything is perfectly fine. She did say baby is measuring big. I am 27 weeks, but I'm measuring at 29 weeks. And I have gained a total, I believe, 17 pounds total. So far today I went in and I weighed a number that I don't want to say, but I'm on track for the doctor's plan. They want my weight gain to be between 25 but no more than 35 pounds, and I'm on track for what they expect of me, so I'm fine with that. I feel like my stomach has been growing a lot lately along with everything else. So yeah, I mean, it was really good just to go to that appointment and not hear like, girl, you got to slow it down. Like, you're on track. You're fine. I mean, the baby is measuring big, but she's been measuring big, so I'm fine with that. I have a separate video going over my updated, what I'm going through. I don't know, updated pregnancy symptoms, but today's video is going to be all about my glucose test and my nightmare with that and just blood work in general and my health insurance. So for those of you that are like me who don't know anything about health insurance, it kind of sucks and it's kind of like a ripoff. I used to have Kaiser through my last employer, and honestly, they were like the best insurance that I ever had. I didn't have anything big or life-changing when I had Kaiser. I just would go in for my normal visits and my blood work and things like that. And anytime I had an appointment, it was just a $15 copay, and that's just what it is. My sister's walking to the car. I'm just recording this video. But anyways, it was just $15 every time. They wouldn't charge me. It's okay. They wouldn't charge me, you know, random amounts of money. So Kaiser was just always consistent. Now with my new employer, I have a PPO insurance. So that was an HMO. So how Kaiser works, I don't know if there's other HMO companies. I only know of Kaiser. And so if I ever needed to go to the doctor, I would call in to the 1-800 number and they would look up all the locations and find a doctor who's available to see me when I needed to be seen. I know with HMO, like, they have to give you the referral, like they have to send you. But everything, I would literally just call the same phone number and they would handle it for me. Having a PPO, a lot of people do like that, like PPO, because they have the flexibility just to go to their own doctors that accept their insurance. They don't necessarily need a referral. For instance, when I was going through like all of my stress and my anxiety and all of that, when I had Kaiser, my primary doctor had to refer me to the psychiatry department, but it was fine. It was not even a hassle. To me, it wasn't a hassle. I don't know if you're going through like a life-threatening sickness or emergency, like how inconvenient that would be, but for me, it worked. Now that I have Aetna, it's a PPO and they freaking suck. My doctor visits, a normal doctor visit, if it's not preventative, it's like not covered. My co-payments, basically, like I said, at Kaiser, I would pay $15. If I needed to have blood work done, I would pay $15. Anytime I walked in that building, it was $15. My prescriptions, no more than $10. With Aetna, they don't cover really anything. It's kind of different, and I guess I should have research my benefits before getting pregnant, because I just assume when your doctor requests for you to go get blood work done and you go get that blood work done, it's going to be covered. I understand that there's like a co-payment that needs to be paid, but apparently like these companies can charge whatever they want to your insurance. So let me just give you an example of how Aetna ended up explaining it to me, because I got hit with like a fat bill randomly for my original blood work that I had drawn back in February. I just got a bill for it. So I had got a bill for like $550. And I was super confused and I didn't see anywhere. So I was like, oh, maybe they didn't run my insurance, because why would my bill be $550? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Well, it is. It does make sense. So apparently I have a deductible that I need to meet. So it's basically all these medical charges up to this point, I have to pay completely out of pocket. So I believe my deductible with my insurance is $1,000. So any medical expenses up to $1,000, I have to cover out of pocket. I'm not too sure if my co-payments, so my co-payment, like when I go to the doctor and like they're like, oh, it's a $35 charge, I don't know exactly if that goes towards that or not. I'm not really too sure on the specifics. But yeah, so then after I pay that $1,000 out of pocket completely, then my insurance kicks in, where they only cover at 80%. So that 20% balance gets billed to me. And so again, I'm not too familiar with how insurance works. So this whole time, since I've been pregnant, I've been going to my doctor's office. They saw me the first couple times. They didn't charge me any money. I think they charged me just the $35 fee. Then after that, they came out with like this payment plan thing where I have to pay them basically according to their calculations. $2,000 is what it's going to cost me out of pocket to have this baby. $2,000. That's the 20% that's left over, but that does not include the freaking hospital or anything like that. So they have me on a monthly payment plan that's gonna, expire around my due date, where I have to pay the doctor directly this, X amount of dollars to cover that $2,000 out of pocket. Okay, and again, they said does not cover the hospital. That's just for vaginal delivery. Does not include any pain medications or anything that's administered. That's just directly to the doctor. Okay, and then I get this bill that I wasn't expecting for my blood work. And so I was super confused. Like I said, I didn't think that they charged my insurance, which they did. And so after talking to the guy at Aetna, he basically told me that it's up to me to call around to different labs to see how much they charge per test. I'm not a fucking expert. I'm not, like, why would I even know that? Like, a normal person is not going to know, like, oh, I need to go get quotes to see how much each test, costs. And the thing is, when they're giving you a packet of paperwork and they're working with your primary lab, like, you would think that it's covered or that it's going to be affordable. You don't think they're going to hit you with like a big fat bill at the end, when you can go on the app and get estimates for co-payments, and they're all really small. So, when you get pregnant, they test you for all of these things, and I'm supposed to call a lab and say, oh, how much is this test? How much is this test? I can't even read the freaking codes. Like, I just think the whole insurance thing is a complete scam. So after getting hit with that bill and having to pay all this other stuff out of pocket already, it's just like a big nightmare, okay? So then they tell me I have to take my glucose test. And I'm like, okay, well, how much is that going to cost me? Is it covered? Is it not covered? No. And so apparently whatever is preventative care is covered. So Aetna said apparently I don't have a copay for that. We'll see what actually happens. So he said, well, hopefully you pass it the first time. What the hell is on me? Is that boba?
What the heck?
Ew, what if it's like a bug? I think it's boba. I just touched it. Imagine it was like a freaking like bug. Okay, there was boba on my pants. That really scared me. I drank boba yesterday. Maybe I dropped one of the bowls on the chair and I didn't realize, or on my seat. Well, anyway, so he's like, well, hopefully you pass it, because then if you don't pass it and you have to retake it, then that's going to be an out-of-cost expense. No. So I'm kind of already stressed. So my whole nightmare of a story doesn't even start there. It's not even like the billing. That's not where it starts. So I make my appointment, I think at CVS or Walgreens, because there's 2 LabCorps around me. But the actual building, like the LabCorp, the standalone building, is freaking run down. It looks like a crack house or something. It looks so like old school, like the building's probably like from the 60s or 70s, like inside, like that's how it looks. Like they haven't painted, they haven't changed carpet or like anything in that building. It's so disgusting and it just looks unsanitary. I went there the very, very first time. I'll never go back there again. So then after that, I've been going to the LabCorp in CVS. So I make my appointment online, and then I get up there and I'm waiting for like about 30 to 40 minutes till they finally call me back. And there's like nobody like else, like they hadn't called anybody before me. I was like the first person waiting. And then after me, a few people came. So I don't know why it was taking them so long, especially when I had an appointment. So she finally calls me to the back, and then she not only calls me, she calls multiple people at the same time. So I'm like, bitch, what have you been doing this whole time? Like, it wasn't during their lunch hour or anything like that. So then she finally calls me back, and then she's like, oh, after looking through the paperwork, she's like, oh, you're here for a glucose, a 1 hour test. We don't do that here. You need to go to the other location. And I'm like, I wish I would have known that. Like, I've been sitting out there for over 30 minutes. She's like, oh, you have? Like, acting all surprised, like as if she didn't know that she had people waiting. So I was super annoyed, and I went to my car and I pulled up that location, and the other location had literally just closed like 15 minutes prior. So LabCorp, they all have their own different hours. And the city that I live in, like I said, there's those two, and that's just it. And I had already been fasting for the day. I mean, my doctor said like I can eat, but just don't have any sugar or whatever, or any carbs, like anything to throw off the test if I am gonna eat. So literally by this point it's like 2:15, and all I had was like 2 scrambled eggs by this point. Like, and so I'm really, really hungry. It's hot that day, and it's just like frustrating. So I'm calling like different locations. My husband's texting me. Anyway, so I'm calling different locations, and none of them are answering. Well, I see a location that closes at 4 o'clock, and it's on the way to my mom's house, and I was already planning to go that way. So they close at 4, but it said like, oh, drug tests are between this time to 3 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, like, and they're not answering. So I'm like, I'm just going to take the chance and go over there, because that's where I'm already headed. I'm going to be going that way anyways, and just hopefully they see me. I literally pull up at like 2:57, and I walk in, I'm all winded, and I said a little white lie. So the lady's like, oh, like, what are you here for? And so I was like, oh, I'm here for the glucose test. And then she's like, oh, our cutoff was at 2:30, even though they don't close till 4. I was like, really? I was like, because I called, and my white lie, okay, because I wanted to be seen. I was already like not fasting, but like, bitch, I was hungry, and I just wanted to get this done with, because my doctor said I needed to do it on that day. Like, if I didn't have it, then she wouldn't have my results by today. And so I was like, oh, it's like, because I called and they said if I got here by 3 that you guys can do it. So then she looked at the time, and it's still before 3. And then so she literally just hands me the bottle, and she's like, okay, we'll drink this really quick. We'll draw your blood like right at 4 o'clock. That's like their closing time. And I was like, oh, thank you so much, or whatever. And so I chugged this bottle, and everybody said the glucose test is like the worst test ever and all this stuff, and it tastes so gross. Like, dude, I don't know if it's because I didn't have sugar all day, or maybe because I was hungry, but that thing was good. It was the clear one, and it tasted like a melted Slurpee. It was super good. Sorry, I have my sister right here. Well, anyways, like, and I think because it was hot, so like to me it was refreshing. I was thirsty, like, I don't know, it was really good. I chugged it real quick. She like watched me, and then she checked me in. Like, she because at the other LabCorp they had already made copies of my documents, so like I had everything, so I just handed it to her. So she checked me in, and she's like, okay, you can sit here like on these recliners, and she made me do like a urine test, and then she's like, and then just sit there, and then we'll call you back like in an hour. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So like I'm there hanging out for a while, and then like I said, I literally just found out that I owe LabCorp $550 for this test, this blood work or whatever. And I'm like, oh. And so the lady calls me, like another lady, she's like, hey, like you have a balance, like a $550. So we need a payment of like, she wanted the whole payment. And I'm like, I looked at the other girl, and the other girl was like, no, we're just going to overwrite that for now or whatever. So they let me do it, because there's literally like, I don't know if they do a payment option, but who the hell, like, I don't want to pay $550 just right off the bat. Like, oh, here you go. Here's my debit card. Take all my money. Like, no, I don't know, whatever. So yes, I know that I owe it, but like I'll probably I have a health savings account, so I need to see how much is in there and then just pay the difference from there. But I wasn't prepared to do any of that, because I literally just found out about the balance like the day before. So yeah, they override it, and so I go sit back down, and then I'm just chilling. I'm listening to my headphones, like I am like watching YouTube, and the next thing you know, this girl comes in on her freaking phone talking so damn loud. Like, have you not heard of like courtesy or manners or anything? Like, you're in a freaking doctor's office. Like, ain't nobody got to know about your weekend. She's talking about how she was hoeing it up this weekend. She's talking about how her ass cheeks are hanging out of her shorts. She's talking about, oh, I went to Hobby Lobby and they wouldn't return this. Like, nobody needs to know that. Just shut the F up. Seriously, like, just shut up. And she was talking so loud that it was over my headphones. And it was just so irritating. And I was like, I think she even, like, she can tell that I was getting mad, but she didn't care. Because I literally was like, oh my God. Like, I looked at her and I was like, oh my God. Like, shut up. Like, I didn't tell her to shut up, but Jesus Christ. Like, I was hungry. I was thirsty. I was hot. And you're coming in here, like, talking all loud and crazy. It was just so annoying to the point where I was like, screw this comfy recliner. I'm going into the lobby, which was way quieter than her conversation. And keep in mind, in the lobby there was like 15 people with children, and they were quieter than this girl. Like, we can literally hear her from the front, where the lady that I sat down next to, I was just like, oh, I was like, some people don't have any courtesy. She's like, yeah, I know. Like, she was like even like rolling her eyes because that girl is being so obnoxious. So then after the hour, I was like right on the dot, the lady called me back to do my blood, and I think she was the only one there to draw blood, the girl who checked me in and gave me the drink real quick and all of that. And I think that's why she didn't want to check me in and set the cutoff was that time, because she had a lobby full of people and she was the only one drawing blood. And then on top of everything, it was her birthday. I felt so bad because she's like, I just want to go home, it's my birthday. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, thank you so much for seeing me, like, I appreciate it. And then we were kind of just chit-chatting while she's doing my blood, because like trying to distract me, because that shit kind of hurt. Like, when you're hungry and you have no energy, like, the needle in the arm it hits a little bit differently, okay? And so we're talking about that girl, because she's like, I didn't even realize like how loud she was being, because she wouldn't shut up. She literally, that other girl was like on the phone for like 30 minutes at this point, just loud, whatever. So then she does my blood. I thank her, appreciate her, everything like that, and that's just that. So today I go to the doctor, and it was like a long ass wait today. I'm like, I'm never coming on a Friday, like, this is ridiculous. And my doctor's wait is usually like 30, like, I'm usually out within 40 to 45 minutes max, out, in and out. No, we were waiting for over an hour to be seen. But they went over everything and everything's good. So that's what matters. So I don't know. I guess my whole point of the story is, one, to vent. Number two is, if you have a PPO insurance, like, find out how much everything is going to cost you up front. Don't use the app. Like, I used an app to get an estimate of certain tests or whatever, like the ones that I knew the names of. Like I said, like, when you're pregnant, they test you for all of these things. Like, so you better know the name of everything. And I guess I just recommend calling different labs. I mean, even though I went to my primary, it still cost me an arm and a leg. It didn't make any sense how they do the billing, but I don't know. I still feel like insurance is still a scam, big time. Like, I totally miss having Kaiser, and which, like, it kind of sucks because at my previous employer, I paid less per paycheck to have Kaiser than I do now. So it's like, I'm paying more out of pocket to have the insurance, and then I'm paying more out of pocket because they don't cover shit. But yeah, so do your research when you get pregnant and you have your insurance and all of that stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.